Hi, my name's Tom Catillaz. First thing I'd like to do is thank everyone who's responsible for putting this on. I'd also like to thank all the people that I met in my door-to-door campaign. Their responses have been very positive and helpful to me. And it's important to the whole town, I think, to get out and get in touch with them. So, thank you.
I'm Bob Bevilacqua. I'd just like to echo Tom's sentiments. I'd like to thank everyone who's setting this up, and thank the people of the community for watching. And I think it's important. I think it's important that we sit down together and talk about our different ideas and way to run the town of Harrietstown. Thank you.
Okay. So for those watching at home, off camera, I'm Chris Knight from the Adirondack Daily Enterprise, and Andy Flynn. Say something, Andy.
Yep, Andy Flynn with Den Publications.
Is also going to be asking questions. Mike's panning around us. Okay. So we'll be asking questions, and we flipped the coin beforehand. Tom got the first opening statement, and that means Bob's going to get the first question here. And we've framed it so that the first group of questions is about the airport, the second is about economic development and the business park, and then it's sort of a variety of different questions after that. Okay, so Bob, you ready?
Yep.
Okay. On the subject of the airport, you both have said, and again, Tom, you'll be able to answer this right after. You both have said you want to boost revenues at the airport and reduce its burden on town taxpayers. But some of the ideas you both have suggested include things the town has already tried that have resulted in little or no success. Some of the examples of that include sharing the costs of the airport with other municipalities or playing with fuel prices. Most people agree the airport's an asset and an important economic engine. But what new ideas do you have that can get the airport in the black that haven't already been tried? And please be as specific as possible.
New areas that could be tried would be, well, first of all, the one thing I would like to go ask the county if they would either return some of the tax dollars that the airport generates, or cut the county's tax on the fuel that we sell at the airport. That would be a benefit, be a good benefit to the airport. The other things that the problem with looking for money from other municipalities is that you can only get it at their will. I mean, you have nothing. You really don't have a way to force them to give us more money. So that's something we will. We'll always ask them if they'd be consider us more in their budget. And now the problem is right now everybody's in the same boat that Harrietstown and the village everybody's in. The money's very tight, and so it's hard for anybody to find extra money to give to one organization. The other areas where it's been mentioned to look at would be like paying for long-term parking. Well, I checked with the Plattsburgh Airport, the international airport up there, the other night, and to create long-term parking there, they had to put up a fence. They had to put up an automatic gate when you go in, an automatic ticket dispenser. So you had a ticket when you went in, and then an automatic gate going out, and an automatic way to pay with a credit card when you go out. That'd be an expense the airport just can't afford. There's other things you can do. You can try and encourage the pilots when they come in to purchase more fuel. You said play with fuel prices. Not really playing with the fuel prices. It's trying to come up with different encouragements for them to get the pilots to buy as much fuel as you can sell them through giving them other services as well. Lab services, de-icing, overnight tie downs, and that type of thing.
Is that 2 minutes?
That was.
Okay. And you'll get 30-second rebuttal after Tom if there's something you'd like to ask. Okay, you ready? Tom, same question.
Just the same question.
And I can repeat the questions if you need.
No. I think that we need to go to the county. We need to go up there and talk to them. It's a regional airport. It's very important to the entire county and Essex County also. There's got to be things we can do. We need the county's help in running this. it's too big for Harrietstown to bear the burden of the entire cost of that when everyone's using it. There are other options, and Bob just spoke about the long-term rental, and that's, I think, what Plattsburgh might be doing is high-end, where we can just do something much more suitable to our size. There's also, it would take an investment, but leasing out land for hangars, where you get a 30-year lease on a piece of land to put up a hangar and use it, and at the end of 30 years you either sublease it or it gets turned over to the town of Harrietstown. And those are ideas that don't take a huge capital investment, and we can do those. But I do think that one of the things we can do is bring back the meetings that we had, the local meetings on the airport. I think there was a head of steam built up there, some good ideas, and all of a sudden it stopped. And I don't have any idea why it stopped, but it did. I think that was good. We had the interest of a lot of people in it, and there was people from Malone here too. And I think that the Malone board is on board with us to help us out. I have heard right from them that they're interested in working with us.
Bob, you've got another 30 seconds if you want to add to your...
Well, on the long-term parking, the thing with that is if you're paying someone, if someone's paying you to leave their vehicle in long-term parking, their expectation of security is raised if they're paying for parking. That's why you need a fence, you need some kind of security, some kind of patrol to watch it. And there aren't that many cars out there that that you would be able to tip for long-term parking. Anyway, the picture you showed on your website, Tom, that was the parking lot where the employees park, where the people work in the cafe park, where you know, the FBO parks. That's the airport parking lot. The other thing about leasing the property for hangars, we already do that. That's something that's been going on for as long as anybody can remember. And on the monthly meetings, we have monthly airport meetings, which are open to the public. Anybody can go to them.
Tom, you've got another 30 seconds if you want to use it.
No, go to the next question.
Okay.
Andy.
One more airport question.
And this one goes to Tom.
This one goes to Tom. As in other aspects of life, you can't get to where you want to go unless you have an idea of where you're going. What is your vision for the airport? Tom.
I can see the airport making money. I don't see why it doesn't. I think it just needs a little attention. It serves a large number of people. It's vital to our economy up here also. But you can't let it just sit and lose a large amount of money every single year. We're going to run out of a savings account to pay for that every year, I think. It may not ever make a lot of money. It may not ever make money, but I think we can get it a lot closer than we are right at this time. It can grow. There's more and more people moving up here, and hopefully they'll use it. Lake Placid uses it. The Upper Lake uses it. Trudeau Institute, I think, uses it. I think anybody coming here now is using it. So I don't see why it can't make money and be profitable and not solely on the backs of the Harrietstown taxpayer.
Timer, man.
Very good.
Peter's adjusting the clock for those watching at home.
Yep. Bob, your vision for the airport?
My long-term vision would be to have it be a regional airport where everyone in the Essex and Franklin counties at least are paying for that for the facility. That would be, like I said, it's a long-term goal. Short-term goals would be to well, not short-term goals, but the thing that I see that we should have the biggest room for improvement, I should say, would be fuel sales for, like, when that Adirondack Club and Resort opens up, when they finally get their final clearances. I mean, those people they're talking about high-end homes there. A lot of them are going to be flying in. I mean, that will help with the offset the cost to the taxpayers. If we get some more people coming in, we've got 6 shovel-ready sites for hangars that are all ready to go. We're just waiting for somebody to come in and say they want to build a hangar. We've got sites there that have power and they have power and sewer and everything right there. Just all they can do is put a building up, and they're set to go. And that's what we're prepping for. So I think the prospects for the airport are good right now. So we had a good year this past year. We had a beautiful summer. We had a lot of flights come in, and a lot of people are discovering this area. And it's I think we have a good future out there. The getting it down to being a zero burden on the taxpayer, that's going to be a long haul. That'd be, if it become a regional, that would be the closest that you get to that. I mean, my house assessed at full value is about $229,000 at full value. My portion of the airport tax last year was $64. I know the people don't want to see any portion of their taxes going to the airport, but it is infrastructure. It's like your highways, and they have buildings out there they maintain. They have road. They have the runway they maintain. They have to plow. They have to mow. They have to do everything else. It's just a piece of infrastructure. The difference with this piece of infrastructure, they sell fuel to pay most of their costs. They cover a good deal of their costs through their fuel sales and the other services they provide.
You want a rebuttal from Tom? You have an optional? No?
Nah, next question.
Bob?
Anything else?
No?
Yeah.
Okay. We're going to move on to economic development and business park. I have a question. Bob first. What can the town do now, and what would you do as supervisor to draw businesses to the business park? Be specific. And should the town do it on its own or outsource the job?
Well, no one in the town employees right now has the expertise to market the business park. Right now at the business park we have one site that's ready to go. That's one right across from Bionic Labs. That's the only site we have out there that's ready to go right now. And there's one right next to Bionic Labs, which would take a little bit of work to get that one ready to go. The rest of them, the other approved sites, you'd have to build a road into them. So right now, the business park is not costing anybody any money. I mean, my plan would be, if someone wants to come in and buy that one site, use the money you get from selling that one site to get the site next to Bionic ready, and then if you sell that site, then do the infrastructure to get up to the next 6 sites. There's a business park down in I think it's Chesterfield Business Park, just south of south side of it's south of Plattsburgh. All right, that site they've got paved roads, curbs, they've got power, water, sewer, everything is on the sites, and there's nothing in it. They've got 4 sites like that. They're all ready to go, and there's nothing in it. These business parks were developed in I think the early '90s, when the federal government had a lot of money, and they were trying to create economic development in these depressed areas, and so they threw a lot of money at these things, and some had some success. We had some success. We built the incubator building there, and ARC moved into that one incubator building, and then Bionic bought the other one. So that's my move right now would be, it's not costing anybody a dime to leave it as it is until someone comes along and wants to move into that one site. And if you're going to market it, there's going to be a price tag attached to marketing it. And right now, quite frankly, the Harrietstown doesn't have the budget to market that to the people who need to be marketed to.
Right now, we don't even have a business link on our website, on Harrietstown's website for this ballpark. That's one of the first things that I think should be done. Second thing is, go to Malone, get some help on it. I'm sure they have something up there. The legislators can help out in some way. If we can't use it as an industrial site, then I think it ought to be changed to what we can use it as, whether it's residential, whatever. I honestly don't think you're ever going to see a business park out there. It was a nice thing years ago. It was a great idea. It hasn't worked. I think we had, as the saying goes, fish or cut bait. Let's move along. It's 100 acres of land. It's beautiful home sites. If we can rezone it into residential, I'm sure we could sell it off or get something out of it. It's not doing anything. It may not be costing us anything right now, but we're certainly not making anything on it, such as taxes. And the businesses that are out there, one of them is tax exempt, so that's not doing us any good out there. There's other ways that you can merchandise this on our own, so with the internet. You don't necessarily have to pay somebody, although I'm sure there is somebody out there that would be willing to take our money to market it a little bit. That's it, I think.
Well,
Rebuttal? Okay.
it can't. The lots out there cannot be used for anything other than industry. You can't change them to home sites. You can't change them to athletic fields or anything like that. And that's what I was told by people from the APA and the DEC. I guess that's it. I can't think. I've lost my train of thought.
Oh.
Yeah, I would revisit that again. I wouldn't take that as an answer from the APA or from DEC or whoever it is. It's land in our township, and we need to do something with it. And instead of having it just sit vacant, there's 100 acres of nice land sitting there doing nothing, and we need it, and we need it to bring jobs to the area, which helps everybody out. If you bring jobs, it reduces your tax burden.
Bob, do you want to rebut at all on that?
The only thing I want to say is that there are
Yeah, I think so.
is that there are jobs out there. Bionique has I think 24 employees, and AEC has several employees. Those people are buying stuff in our local shops. They are contributing to the overall economy of the entire area. So the business park ours is making a small amount of impact. There's room to make more, but it is making a small amount of impact at this time.
Tom?
Yeah,
Good.
Okay. Okay, and we're going to stay on economic development, and I think, if I'm right, is this one going to Tom first?
Tom.
Yep, okay. Beyond the business park, what specific economic development experience would you bring to the table as supervisor? What role would you play as supervisor in bringing in new businesses to the community and boosting the overall economy of the town? And again, not just at the business park.
Correct. I think there's a lot to do, and there's a lot we can do. One of the things we have to do is work together with everybody, the county, the village, and the town. They all have to work together. And there are businesses out there, I think, that we can attract here. We have a good thing going with some of the businesses here, such as AMA, Trudeau Institute, and now the biotechs that are down inside the village, but also inside the town of Harrietstown. There's room for growth. I think both the one that's in the village offices now has already grown since they've moved in, and they've expanded their personnel. This is a great thing, and I think it can move forward, not just there, but maybe up on Trudeau property also. That would be even better. I think that Trudeau Institute is turning the corner and going to be a very healthy, strong business in our community. Hopefully within the next year. And hopefully they're going to grow again. And that's just good for everybody around. Everybody, the whole town. If I say it's just for the village, well, I don't mean that. I mean it's good for everybody. I have worked, I can work with people. I know I can do this. We've done it. I was part of the other, bringing the biotech firms in, that deal. I was on that. And I'm very optimistic we can bring more people here. So.
And I can, again, restate the question anytime either of you need it. Go ahead, Bill.
Bringing business and economic development in, I mean, we were part, town of Harrietstown was part of the, of bringing the biotechs in. We're the final piece of the puzzle. The village needs someplace to move to to open up their offices for one of those firms, and we had the second floor of the town hall was open, so we worked with them, and we got, Tom was part of that. He came down one night, and we toured the upstairs to see if it would fit their needs, and we got them into the upstairs, and then we reduced the rent to them so that we could open up the Sears parking lot, which helps the economic development of the entire town, having that lot open, because it's, as you can see, it's been full almost every day. There's that lot is a very vital piece to the whole community. But Harrietstown had a hand in bringing biotech into our town before, when we moved Bevilacqua from Essex County out to the business park. Okay, now they're looking to expand. The difference with Bevilacqua and the ones down in the old village offices, the Bevilacqua built their own building. There was no taxpayers' dollars spent on that enterprise. There's other things you can do. I mean, we got the broadband going right down. I don't know if it's going down Church Street or going down Main Street, but it just needs to be tapped into that final mile connection. And tell you, whatever the town can do to help out those people. I mean, that goes right by the business park too. So I mean, you could, if someone had a business that was broadband based, and there's a lot of them out there, that the quality of life in this area is what's going to bring people here. And I think the business park is a prime spot where we could possibly get somebody to go in there, bring that true broadband down that little stretch of road down to a new business, and you could have a good thing going there, as well as in the village. There's got to be other sites here in the village that would benefit from that, other than just the homes and the schools. There's got to be other businesses in town that would benefit from having that true broadband brought right to their door.
Tom, anything else?
No.
Bob, anything else you want to expand? Okay, Andy, you got the next one.
Now we go into the potpourri category, where we ask questions about all sorts of things. We're going to start with this question, going to Bob first. How would you describe or grade the current working relationship between the town board and the village board, and how will that relationship change when you are supervisor?
I would say right now we probably, if you're going on a A to F, I'd say we're probably about a C right now. We seem to be bucking heads too much, in my opinion. How I would change that, I mean, once you get, some of the stuff could be during political season, and we're just at each other's picking each other right now. But I think I will definitely reach out to Clyde and the members of the village board and ask them, what we can do to work together. I'd like to sit down and have a joint meeting with them and see if there's anything we can do. I mean, there's a lot of shared services, I've said this before, that go on between the departments in the village. I mean, if they need help moving sand, or they need help with blacktop or something like that, the town is there to help them, as well as the other towns near are there to help them. We've had our trucks helping Tupper Lake haul blacktop. They helped the village when they did all this big paving job in town. That kind of stuff goes on all the time. And the being in the same building, there's more familiarity with each other, and I think it should be better. And the boards, I think, we're going to have to work together. We're just going to have to put our personalities aside and just sit down and work out what we can do for the better of the taxpayers.
I don't think the relationship is anywhere near that good, actually, and I'm certainly not pointing any fingers, but I don't, and it needs to happen. If we go back a little bit and talk about bringing the biotech firms to Saranac Lake, the town wasn't in on that. They were in on the back end of relocating the village offices. I want to work right from the start with the town and the village together. And I know I can do it. I can work with any one of these guys. I've known them all my life, almost every single one of these guys. Ron Keogh was right there when I first became an altar boy. He hasn't changed a whole lot either. But Barry DeFuria, I remember him in high school. He was a little older than I was. Nicole's the only one I've never really worked with. I have faith that we can work together and bring good things to Saranac Lake and to the town of Harrietstown. There's also a set of keys waiting in case anybody from the town ever wants to use the sand and salt shed that we built, and that was a big idea. That was a good idea, and it's something that should happen between the two municipalities, or the two offices. Sooner or later, we're going to have to really sit down and talk more about shared services. It's getting harder and harder for either one of us to maintain the services that we supply to the people that are day-to-day operational things. Yes, the town does supply dump trucks and drivers when we need them, and it goes both ways. And this is just going to have to escalate, I think, more and more. We have to work together.
You know, sometimes shared services don't work out, and the sand salt shed, that was a failure. You know, I mean, they don't all work out, and that one didn't work out so far. We may still have to revisit that in the future. But you know, I agree with Tom. I can work with anybody on the village board. I mean, I think that, you know, everyone wants to make the area better, wants to make the area less costly for the taxpayers. And I think if everybody goes in with that opinion, we should be able to work things out.
No, good.
Okay. Tom, are you gonna get the next question? And when I find it, I'll give it to you. More of a budget-related question here. Tax levy increases in the town have been all over the board in the last few years. 13% increase one year, 2% this year, under the cap. How would you work, or I'm sorry, not 2% this year. I'm thinking ahead for 2013, and less than 1%. How would you work to stabilize taxes in the town? And do you see any room to reduce expenditures in the town budget any further to reduce the burden on town taxpayers? And if you do, please give specific examples.
I think there's always room for cutting a little bit, and I don't think the town has looked at this very much. I know that everybody's busy, everybody's doing everything they can, but if we can share services and reduce our expenditures, such as, it may be people, you never know, or just people retire and you don't replace them. These are things we got to look at, and not sending. It can get down to as little as not sending one plow truck over a road that somebody else just went by 2 minutes before, and this happens all the time, all the time, all the time. We need to look at this. We need to look at the personnel, how many people we have, maybe at the airport or maybe at the highway garage or wherever. We have offices upstairs in the town hall with 4 women working that all do a great job, and downstairs there's 2 women working that do a great job also. I would really like to see us blend some of those jobs together. I think it can happen. If people have to go in to pay their village taxes, they've got to climb to the second floor. And some of the people are, quite honestly, older people. A lot of them are. I don't know why they can't go into the town office and pay their bill in there, especially if there was one of the village women working there. I think we could set up a desk in there with a computer, and they could, they could pay their bills in there, whether it's just a week a year or when taxes come due, or if it's going to be a permanent thing. I think it can happen, and I think it should happen. And I do think that there's a lot more instances like that where we can go look around the whole town and make cuts there. If you call them a cut, I think it's just working smart.
Okay, Bob?
I mean, I agree with Tom on the giving the village a space downstairs. I proposed that when they first moved into the upstairs. You know, if you need a desk downstairs here sometime for the month that you collect for what June
Yep.
and June to July when you're collecting taxes, you know, I'd be very willing to do that for you, because we have an elevator there, but you know it's everybody comes in through the front doors, the elevator's around the side, and if you don't know where to find it, you know, then some of the older people do have to climb the stairs, and that's inconvenient. You know, I'd be in favor of that. Looking at sharing. Plowing the streets, like Tom suggested, I think that's another thing we probably should look at. You know, I mean, it doesn't make sense, just like you said, to have one truck go down with their plow down and the next truck go by with their plow up. It just, you know, so I mean that we might be able to see some savings there. There's you know, there's certainly things we can do to work together with the village and for the betterment of everybody.
Okay. You each have 30 seconds if you want to add anything.
No,
Okay.
told you 20 minutes. We're pushing it. They're over.
Here's a question for Bob to go first. Question on leadership. What is the role of town supervisor? Should he just sit at the head of a table and conduct meetings, or should he be a leader? What kind of supervisor would you be?
I think I'd be the way I'd like to do things. I like to take my time and look over an entire issue, get information from everybody, make sure everybody's voice is heard, everybody on the board's voice is heard, and talk to people in the community too, and find out, you know, just to make sure that we're going in the direction that the community wants us to go, and to make sure that it's not going to be you know, the decisions you make, they affect people, they affect their taxes, but they affect them in other ways too. I just like to make sure that we're doing the best job we can, and I don't think that you can make a real fast good decision. I think you need to look at things and come up with a plan, so that when you walk out of that boardroom, you speak with one voice, and everybody's going in the same direction.
Tom?
I know the town likes to go slow. We've heard that. And I have to disagree with that a little bit. I think we need to make decisions and move faster on things that need to happen. And I can give you an instance of that. Is the wall behind the town hall. A year ago, when Irene came through, part of the wall fell in, and the walkway, it's not fixed yet. And the village can't go in and fix it because it's on town property, and blah blah blah. It keeps going back. We need to just sometimes suck it up, go in and fix the problem, and that's the way I like to do things somewhat, is react to it, do it, and there's nothing wrong with looking at it and getting all the information down, but sometimes you just have to move forward and get things done. If you sit back and study things forever and a day, they never happen. And I would just like to move a little forward, a little faster, and more frequently.
On the issue with the wall behind the town hall, we've gotten FEMA originally gave us, they were going to give us, I think it was $40,000 to fix that wall, and they're only going to pay us to fix about 40 feet of the wall. The wall's 118 feet long. So the rest of that would have fallen on the taxpayers. The wall is undermined some, and it had crumbled. Some of the stones had fallen out of the bottom a while ago. So the rising water certainly didn't do it any favors, but it didn't get it in the shape it's in right now. But we just last week we had another meeting with FEMA, and now we're looking at having them give us money to do the whole wall. So if we'd done it real fast, that could have cost the taxpayers about $300,000, and now we might get it, some of it or more of it paid under the FEMA grants.
Tom?
We're probably gonna wait all winter now on this, and we'll be talking about this a year from now. I think we need to get the thing fixed. That's it.
It's also part of it's a historic part of the structure, so you can't just go in there and put a wall in there. Sorry.
No, I agree.
Sorry.
Go ahead.
Okay. All right. This next one's for let's see, Tom, I think, right?
Yep.
Tom.
Okay. Okay, Tom. Do you think town government, in terms of its cost, structure, and operation, will look much different under your leadership than it does now?
I think you'd see more decisions coming from the board and not depending on the treasurer or the lawyer. They certainly are there to give direction and advice on their own departments, so to speak. But I think more decisions need to come from the town board. They need to come a little faster. And if they need to work with the village is right there. They're to add their 2 cents in. And I think that can happen. There's no reason all these things can't happen all the time, faster and more efficiently. I look forward to it. As far as the changing of it, it'll still be pretty much the same as it is, I think. It'll be your basic town board, but I would like to see it be a little bit more aggressive.
Repeat that one for me.
Sure thing. Do you think town government, in terms of its costs, structure, and operation, will look much different under your leadership than it does now?
Well, I'm of the opinion that the town does work pretty efficiently. I mean, we have a pretty small staff. We do pretty well with the staff we have. So I don't really see where you're gonna see a big difference in the way that it operates when I'm supervisor. I think it operates pretty well. I mean, it's like I say, it's pretty lean staff we have right now.
Tom, anything else?
No.
Okay. Bob, you're good?
Good.
Okay. This first question will be about the rail trail, and Bob will go first. Do you support rehabilitating and preserving the railroad tracks between Saranac Lake and Tupper Lake and beyond to Old Forge and Remsen? Or do you think that the track should be removed and replaced with a multi-use trail?
Well, personally, I think it would probably make more sense, and this because I talked to a lot of people about this. I have a lot of people come in the shop and on both sides of the fence, but I talked to a lot more people that would be in favor of seeing the rails removed and putting a multi-use trail in. I don't think that I've read both the reports. I don't think either of the I don't think the numbers are real accurate in either one of the reports. I don't think on the artist report they said they see an increase of 250,000 people in Saranac Lake in the summertime to use the or in the Tri-Lakes area to use the trail system. I can't really see that happening. Where would they go? Where would they stay? Where would they put their cars, for God's sake? I mean, I just don't see how you could logistically pull that off. personally, I feel that putting the trail in would be more beneficial to the area economically. But there are a number of people that like the nostalgia of riding the train, having and there's some people who think that you're gonna who believe that you'll be able to use it as freight service. So that's why we're going to support at our next meeting, just like the village did, opening up the unit management plan. That's the best way to come down with a good decision of you know, how the state, the DOT, and the DEC will can foresee which is the best way to go. I mean, they'll look at all. Everyone will get a chance to have their time in front of the mic to plead their case. I think that's the best way to go.
I'm honestly right in the middle on the fence on this. We went for riding a truck on the rails from Saranac Lake to Tupper Lake, and it was an absolutely beautiful ride. I think people would pay money to ride from Tupper Lake here or expand it. It's not quite the same ride as it is from Saranac Lake to Lake Placid. It's a completely different ride. It's a beautiful ride. Will it make money? I don't know if that'll ever happen. The snowmobilers, we could increase the snowmobile activity up here, I think, if the rails were not there. It means earlier grooming, better riding conditions, and safer riding conditions also. It would be much more attractive to all snowmobilers. 250,000 more people here in the summer? Yeah, I agree with Bob. I'm not sure about the figures that are out there on all this, but it would certainly have a big impact. You have Lake Placid right next door, and those athletes do need a place to practice. And the spin-off, you never know. You could have bike shops out in the woods right now where there's absolutely nothing, and people giving bicycle tours. And there's a whole new industry there that could spin off from this. So I would hate to see the rails torn up because they'd never get put back down if we ever chose to do that. That would be, once they came out, they'd disappear, I'm sure. But if that's the case, that's the case. We need to move forward on that, and looking at this new report will help everyone hopefully make the right decision.
Chance for a rebuttal.
I just want to say that I haven't been on the ride on the high rail car from Saranac Lake to Tupper, but everyone who's on says that is a much more beautiful ride than it is on the end from Saranac Lake to Lake Placid. But you can still enjoy it on a bike or on a pair of cross country skis or in the back of a snowmobile, and that's my personal opinion. But we're going to wait and see what opening up the unit management plan, what comes out of that, and that's we'll have to decide what we're going to support then.
No.
All right, Tom, this next one goes to you. It's been referenced a little bit already, but I'd like to ask you guys a little bit more about the proposed annexation of Trudeau Institute. And it's sort of a two-part question. Should the village and town have a dialogue about annexing and supporting Trudeau Institute? And how would the village annexing Trudeau benefit Harrietstown residents if it were to happen?
The village, this is one instance where the village and the town have to start sitting down and talking about situations. You don't have to make a decision, you don't have to agree on them always, but if something comes up like this, you need to move forward on it. And to me, there's absolutely no reason why this can't happen. The advantages, Trudeau 6 months ago was struggling more so than they are now, I think. And this was a way that the village could help them on their water and sewer rates. And it meant $70,000 a year, approximately $70,000 a year. And that's one job up at Trudeau Institute that could have been saved. If we can do that, there's got to be other things we can do. And we need their brain power too. It's not just the village. It's everybody. It affects everyone here. It affects you and your family just as much as it does me and my family. The other advantages, I'm not sure what they are, other than water and sewer, and maybe down the road if they had to sell property off, that's tax dollars into the village, which is inside the town of Harrietstown. So it helps everyone.
Just say question one more time.
Sure. I want to reset that. Should the village and town have a dialogue about annexing and supporting Trudeau Institute? And how would the village annexing Trudeau Institute benefit Harrietstown residents if that were to happen?
Well, first off, we can't really have a dialogue until Trudeau and the people who own the property up there petition people who own Trudeau's property, because as I understand, the Frank County IDA has an interest in that property as well. So they would have to petition Harrietstown Board for annexation. They haven't done that yet, and as of the paper the other night, they said they're not interested in doing it. The reason why we did not sit down with the village prior to this is because every letter they sent us, they said they wanted to discuss annexation. You cannot discuss annexation like it's a foregone conclusion. You have to go through the proper steps, or else it could be challenged under Article 78. And I don't think the village wants to be involved in more lawsuits, I know the town doesn't. So you have to go through the proper channels for that. As far as benefits to the town, I don't really see a lot of benefits to the town of giving Trudeau and everyone else. And if you annex it in, they would still remain in the Algonquin Water District. You can't take them out of the water district. So everyone in that water district would have to get the 1 times the rate on water and sewer. So who makes up that difference? Everybody else does. Everybody else that pays water and sewer tax makes up that difference. So the people paying 2 times up in Beechwood, and these people paying in the districts, paying Lake Colby and all these other districts, paying twice the water rate, and the water rates are going up. Everybody knows the water rates are going up. They'd be paying twice as much on their share of that $70,000, and whatever the other people up there in that district would be paying. So I don't really see a big benefit to the town of Harrietstown for doing that, unless the village was willing to change everyone in all the water districts down to 1 times the rate. Then it'd probably be a much easier thing for us to swallow. But that's it.
No.
Tom, anything to add?
No.
Okay. I want to just talk to Andy for a second outside, if that's okay.
All right.
Secret.
So while the tape's rolling, I might as well ask you a couple questions I had. So, what do you guys think about Follinsby Park? People think of it as being in Tupper Lake, but most of the pond is in the town of Harrietstown.
I'll do that, and then...
Okay, I'll ask you about it later.
What are you trying to...
I was trying to sneak
Trying
into
to
the chat.
He's trying to hijack
Sneak one in.
debate.
Well, I figured we can't just have dead air.
No, sorry about that. Radio listeners, TV listeners.
You're
Okay.
a radio guy, you know that.
All right, sure. Okay, Bob, this question will go to you first here, and we're just going to last couple questions before we get to closing statements here. Not too long ago, there was a local government consolidation study that ended with a recommendation that the village should pursue becoming a city, a concept that was pretty challenging and basically has been dropped at this point. But that study also called for the 3 towns involved, including Harrietstown and the village, to sit down and explore other ways to do more shared service opportunities, reduce burdens on their taxpayers, and also to look at updating the village's comprehensive plan. This is kind of where I'm going with this question, so I'm kind of winging it a little bit. But the comprehensive plan for the town hasn't been updated since 1967 or so. And there was a joint effort to do that not too long ago before the town pulled out of that. Do you see a need for the town and revisit its comprehensive plan since it has been so long since it's been updated?
Well, there's probably a need to tweak some of the zoning laws, and updating the whole plan. I mean, I did like some of the stuff that came out of the comprehensive plan. We haven't really implemented it. I think we're waiting to see if the village. I know the village is still working on that. They still have those
Yes.
meetings every couple of weeks. So we're just. I didn't want to see that final report. But as far as massive overhaul of our plan, I don't know if there's we've talked to the board about looking at some different changes to the zonings and that type of thing. But I don't know if we're gonna do the whole overhaul of the entire plan.
Tom?
I don't think that the town's plan needs to be completely overhauled either. I think we can tweak it a little, but one of the things that needs to happen is the village and the town need to sit down and talk about all the things that are going on and come to some type of conclusion on them. The last time that the came about, it was pretty much slammed as a big no way in my opinion, from the town, and they didn't want any part of much of it that was suggested. So we can sit down and talk about it. I'm sure all you got to do is try, and we will when I'm supervisor. The villages, I think, their master plan has been moving very slowly. I think that needs to be stepped up and polished and accepted, because in general it's a very good plan, and I'm not as familiar with the towns as I am with the villages, but I don't see a lot of big changes to be made in the towns, and it's just something that we need to sit down and talk with both boards. And it's another thing that we have to sit down and talk about. There's just so many things that I think need to be talked about that are not things that have to cost anybody any money whatsoever. Just, we could get a lot of things done if we sat down and talked.
Bob, anything else you'd like to add to that?
One thing that on the comprehensive plan that they're talking about was that the town wasn't really in favor. Was they're talking about complete streets. Well, complete streets in the village are different from complete streets in the town. Complete streets in the village would be curbing and sidewalks and all that stuff. Well, if we had to put curbing and sidewalks, say, out in Beechwood, that would be a huge expense. All right, but I've learned since then that there's different interpretations of what complete streets are. You know, for like in the town, it'd be pretty much what's there now.
Tom, anything else?
No.
Okay.
With Andy.
This is the final question before we go to closing remarks.
Yeah.
This question goes to Tom first. In this election for Harrietstown Supervisor, you're trying to replace Larry Miller in his unexpired term. So essentially, you're running for a one-year term. If you lose this election, will you run again next year? Why or why not?
I have not thought that far out as far as an election time. I'm thinking shorter term and what we can accomplish in the next 12 months. And there's a lot of things on the table, on both tables, that I get very excited about working on. And I hope I get a chance to work with Bob and Barry and Nicole and Ron Keogh. There's a lot of things we can get done. We get a lot done in the village, and it may not look like it at the meeting, but we go in there quite prepared, and we're open to suggestions all the time. But I think we get a lot done in our board, and I think we can get a lot done on the town board also.
Well, I plan on winning this year, and I plan on running again next year for a full term. So that's the short answer. But there are things we should be working with the village on, with maybe town of St. Armand, town of Brighton, town of Franklin. You know, there are things we should be working with all the towns on. I mean, it's not, and the school district too. It's not. I sat on the
School board.
no, well, I was on the school board, yes, but I was on. We also had a committee looking at shared services with the school, and there's representation from every town in the area there, and we brainstormed and we came up with doing the auction of all the excess equipment, you know, and everybody made a little bit of money on that, and then that worked out pretty well. There's, if you just sit in a room together with other people, you can come up with a lot of things, and I think, Tom, that I will be able to work with you when you're still in the village and I'm the supervisor.
Anything else, Tom, on that
Nope.
question? No? Okay. All right, we're going to move to our closing statements, and since Tom, you got to go first on opening statements, I think we'd be letting Bob go first on closing statements. Is that right? Would that be the normal process, Peter?
Go ahead, don't worry about it.
Everybody go ahead, because Tom had the last question first anyway. So it'll be the
Okay.
same way.
Yeah, that would be sense.
Yep, okay. So, whenever you're ready, Bob.
I just, you know, it's been a pretty fun election actually. I've had a pretty good time. You know, I've talked to Tom a couple times down at where he works, and you know, I'm glad this finally happened. I'm glad we got the chance to show the people of the area that we come from two different backgrounds. They're two different governments, but we do see there's a need for the village and town to work together, and you know, I hope that we can do it in the future, and it should be for the betterment of everyone. So I just hope that people vote on November 6th, get the people out, get them all voting. I hope they vote on every election that's on the ballot, not just going and hit a couple of them, but and don't forget the guy at the end of row B. And C.
Tom.
I've enjoyed my time on the village board immensely, and I'm looking forward to working on the town board with Bob, I think. This is a big opportunity for everyone in the area because we can get things done. We have, I know I've been a little obnoxious with the tax cap stuff, but guess what? We got it. And we can stick with it and we can live with it. And that helps everyone that lives here. There's a long list of things we can do, and I'm sure we will do them. I'm sure the town is going to look at things a little differently when whoever's in there next year, and things are going to move forward. And I'd really like the chance to be part of that, and to be the leader that makes them move and makes them happen. This has been, it's been a long election campaign. We knew we had to start a little bit early because of the presidential election when it would overshadow everything else. And we did take a little sabbatical in the middle there, but that was unexpected. I would appreciate your support, and thank you very much.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.